Every so often, a game will come out that sucks the player into a real world. Elite did it, Doom did it, and now the Xbox 360 debut of the Ghost Recon series does it too. This isn't solely based on the game's wonderful visuals. To truly immerse the player, it needs scale, drama, and the unnerving impression that the characters will be running about long after you've gone to bed.
Area clear, Captain! Come on, come on!
Blimey, this is great. In these futuristic skirmishes, you won't just have control of the squad, you'll also be able to see what they see, thanks to the little box in the top left. You can order devastating nighttime artillery strikes, command Black Hawks to rake ground targets, and indulge in long-distance gunfights across huge town squares.
Getting harder, Captain!
The enemy aren't pushovers though, and AI is impressive and highly dangerous. They're fast as rats for one thing, and if you're inclined to run round blind corners, you best be ready on the stance change button. Fellow squad members are tenacious too, and the game never suffers from friendly soldiers blocking important doorways. Offering them medical aid can be tricky as they tend to fall, logically enough, in the line of fire.
Gonna be fine, soldier!
The graphics, as you'll have seen by now, are magnificent. Your time as the gunner of a helicopter is worth the ticket money all on its own. No multiplayer community yet, but all the features, co-op included, are here, and this will surely be an early hit for Xbox Live too. Advanced Warfighter on the 360 is a breathtaking game. Although it's extremely tough, you will be routed from the first polygon. As close to Urban War as anybody, but a professional or madman would want to get, this title oozes class. 5 out of 5. It's a real world, and as in the real world, that last dash for home may only be the beginning of your problems.
All entrances and exits are locked down. VIP2 is on a secure phone line with President Ballantyne and is now reviewing possible retaliatory...
Now in its 20th year, the Dragon Quest games have sold in excess of 40 million copies. These games consistently top the Japanese gaming charts. Dragon Quest's blend of fantasy RPG and unbelievably simple gameplay has helped to bring it legendary status in Japan, but the series is still relatively unknown to Western gamers. Dragon Quest creator Yuji Horii has for 2 decades ensured that fans never grow tired of returning to his fantastical worlds. He may be one of the biggest names in Japanese gaming, but as a teen he set his sights on a different career.
作ろうとですね、思いついたきっかけは、僕はもともとですね、漫画が志望だったんです。
When I was young, I dreamt of creating manga. However, after graduating university, I ended up becoming a writer, but I never forgot my dream.
漫画家にはなれなかったんですけども、やっぱ漫画家の夢を捨てきれずにですね、漫画の原作
When
なん
I
か
eventually bought myself a computer, I saw just how interactive it was. It really blew me
コ
away.
ンピューターのインタラクティブ性、双方向性にですね、すごく魅力を感じたわけですね。
I thought to myself, maybe I can create a kind of manga using the computer.
そう思ったのがきっかけですかね。
出品をしていて、でそれが賞に入ったんですね。
Mr. Horii saw how popular role-playing games had become in America.
つながりができまして、でファミコンの中
He
で
was desperate to introduce role-play gaming to a Japanese audience.
売り手間ですとかっていうところがパソコンのゲームの
That's really what spurred him on to begin the Dragon Quest
まだ
project.
まだファミコンのその初期の時代ですから、シューティングゲームがあったりスポーツゲームがあったりっていうところで RPG っていうのが全くない。
ドローンクエストを最初に作ったのが今から20年ぐらい前。
When the first series came out 20 years ago, role-playing games were considered to be the preserve of hardcore gamers, and I wanted to break that assumption. So, I decided to make a game that was so easy, you wouldn't even need to read the instructions to play it. Dragon Quest has always represented a place where anyone can just come in and stay as long as they like.
入って来た人がですね、体験できる世界を
Until now, Dragon Quest's success has been confined to the domestic market. Ori-san and his team hope to change that with the 8th installment.
やっぱりグラフィックのところですよね。
The biggest difference is the graphics. Up to now, the game's graphics have always been 2D. Of course now, the 3D graphics on the PS2 don't present us with any problems. And it gives the game a new look and feel.
I'll be expecting you. Au revoir for now.
In Japan, the game's dialogue's always been presented by text, but now the characters have found their voices.
So let's go for that, and you kick it off with line 1034.
He's a slippery customer. Keeps getting away from us. Have you heard anything?
And then we'll go straight on with 1036.
Well, I'm not finished yet. This is the best bit. I haven't told you about how the Gov helped me go straight. How about trying brains again? Maybe the old geezer will be around. Give us some intelligence this time.
Western gamers can get their first taste of this Eastern delight when Dragon Quest is released in April. Next up, the item that sends a shudder through the video games industry. This is Spam Filter. The Anti-Oscars, or Golden Raspberry Awards, nearly honoured 2 movies based on video games this year. German director Uwe Boll, whose latest flick Blood Rain's currently doing the rounds, picked up a Worst Director nomination for his previous effort Alone in the Dark. And The Rock's starring role in Doom earned him a nomination for Worst Actor, but both narrowly escaped winning the awards in early March. Alexander Sorokian, former Bungie head honcho and one of the brains behind Halo and Stubbs the Zombie, is planning a TV show video game crossover. The massively multiplayer game is called X-Quest and is currently in development for Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. In the TV show, 2 teams will perform tasks inside a space simulator. Players at home will be able to interact with the TV show. X-Quest is due to launch next year.
Someday, and that day may never come, I may call upon you to do a service for me. Look away.
Games giant Electronic Arts are already planning sequels to their Godfather video game. The game may have only just launched, but EA are confident they've got a blockbusting franchise on their hands. The sequels will be based on the 2nd and 3rd installments of the Oscar-winning movies. With 5 editions under its belt, Konami's Pro Evolution Soccer series has reached the pinnacle of pure playability. But having mastered footy simulation, a question remains: where can they take the franchise next? The answer, surprisingly, doesn't end with a big 6. It's time for PES fans to invest in some sheepskin coats. Pro Evolution Soccer management has arrived.
So finally, we're off.
This PS2 spin-off has been produced by a member of the revered Pro Evo development team, and it's a brave attempt to take on the established likes of LMA and Championship Manager at their own game.
Straight at goal.
Over the course of a season's campaign, your custom-built gaffer must guide his team to trophy-winning glory. First, though, you'll need to surround him with the finest staff his salary budget will allow, hiring a coach, some scouts, and even a foxy female assistant. There she is. There's a staggering level of strategic tinkering on offer. You'll oversee just about every aspect of the team, from budgets to training programs to in-game tactics and transfer negotiations. Everything's presented clearly with easy-to-navigate menus and a comprehensive array of options for the simulated matches, which use the same graphics engine as PES 5.
Terrific goal. There's the opener.
One complaint, though, is that while some teams are fully licensed, there are still lots more that feature the series' now familiar made-up names. If this proves to be an irritation, you could always invest some time correcting them. If you're not usually tempted by other sims like this, PES management is unlikely to convert you. But if you're particularly into PES 5's Master League managerial options, then this will be a pleasure. We'll give it 3 out of 5.
Closes our coverage this afternoon.
Still to come, more pointy ears than a Star Trek convention, we journey to the realm of lineage. Temporal twists and turns in Time Shift. And military mayhem courtesy of the Full Spectrum Warriors. That's all after the break.
For all you early to bed on a school night types, Bravo at 10 is now repeated at the more convenient time of Saturday from 9. Marvellous.
All over Britain, the sound of silence fills the air. The arguments over who gets the paper first no longer offend our ears. Those frightfully clever people at the Daily Mail have packed all their mind-bending Sudokus, Kokuros, crosswords, code words and puzzles into one handy pull-out supplement. Where do you do yours? Get your free unique 4-page puzzle pull-out every day only in the Daily Mail.
Are you facing an endowment shortfall?
Policy, shortfall, index-linked, limitations, terminal bonus...
Don't be put off by all the jargon, or be worried that your claim won't be treated fairly, because Endowment Claims, the claims specialist, is here to help you. Making endowment claims is all we do, and if you don't claim, they win, you lose.
Call Endowment Claims now on 08450 70 60 40 or visit us online at endowmentclaims.com. Endowment Claims.
Do you have zero no-claims bonus and want cheaper car insurance? Well, at last, there's car insurance for people with zero no-claims bonus. Bell. Look, I know it's hard to find cheaper car insurance when you have zero no-claims bonus, but Bell could save you up to £175. So, if you've got zero no-claims bonus, give us a bell on 0800 140 180. You've nothing to lose. Or save even more at bell.co.uk.
Day after day after day. That man is Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Let's get this punk.
All new episodes.
Welcome back to Gamer TV. Our next review has just stumbled into our sights.
We're with you.
It began life as an actual training aid for the US Army's light infantry, but despite its serious military roots, THQ's Full Spectrum Warrior brought a unique and enjoyable take on the tactical shooting genre.
He's down!
Now, a follow-up has arrived for the PS2, Xbox and PC. The subtitle for it could easily be mistaken for a typical bulk order from a DIY store. Full Spectrum Warrior, 10 hammers.
Iceman, baby.
Tool references aside, the fictional plot here sees the US Army on a mission to sort out the despotic Al-Afad regime who turned Zekistan into a safe haven for militant terrorists and their mates. Again, you're a squad commander who must guide teams Alpha and Bravo through a tour of intense urban combat. Although viewed from eye-level third person, movement and firing direction are cursor-controlled, so the point-and-click gameplay owes more to real-time strategy than FPS-style aiming.
Yes, he's covered.
Now, there are more ways to control your troops. Splitting up allows independent movement within a team, handy for flanking the enemy. Buildings can be explored too, which means you can take up advantageous sniping positions at windows.
My kill.
In a break from the game's style, this time you can directly control your soldiers' scopes for pinpoint targeting. There's more hardware at hand for this operation, with mechanised units like armoured Hummers and Bradley tanks available to bring some heavy firepower. Or, when you need aerial backup, you can call a chopper to swoop down and do the business. New recruits to the series may find 10 Hammers' rock-hard difficulty level and fiddly control system a bit much. However, once familiar with the new gameplay aspects, veterans should get along just fine. We'll give it 3 out of 5. Like many massively multiplayer online games, Lineage 2 is a big bag of extremes. At one end, you've got epic tales, magic and dazzling swordplay. At the other end is a group of mates chatting about toast. The latest expansion of the title, Chronicle 4 Signs of Destiny, has recently gone online, and true to form, issues great and small are addressed. One of the heavyweights is this lad here, Valakas, the Red Dragon, only the second dragon to appear in the Chronicles so far. It won't surprise you to learn that he's got nearly as many hit points as everyone else in the game combined. Finding and battling Valakas has a lot of potential for joint quests and alliances. Won't be easy though. He's not the only new monster. A veritable menagerie has been added to the game, including some very senior and deadly new adversaries. Right on the other end of the scale, there are a handful of new pets to rear, and disgustingly cute they are too. Another major addition is the teleportation system for the Noblesse, high-ranking player characters with fancy titles. These teleports will carry you to new secret areas of the game world. There are loads of new quests, but for those bored with swords and sorcery, NCSoft have thoughtfully added fishing to the list of potential activities. This is a thorough and creative update of a great game. However, the world of Lineage 2 is very much what you make it. Although its prettiness and accessibility are obvious plus points, it's the adventurers that will get the most out of its mythic landscapes. We'll give it 4 out of 5. Regular viewers will know that we at Gamer have been on a bit of a witch hunt. We've turned to the appliance of science to help us find the scariest game. We travelled to the Emotion Labs in Glasgow, a research facility in which you can literally smell the fear. To help us, we strapped a girl gamer into a load of electronic equipment. And the game we're testing today is Resident Evil Outbreak File 2. Continuing the dramatic story of an epidemic caused by a secret biological weapon infecting the people of Raccoon City, the game brings long-time survival horror fans back into the world of the undead. We asked Dr. Anna McGee, our resident professional psychologist, about her first reaction to the game.
This is very much more a game of strategy, I think. We're getting a lot of grids that come up on the, that almost like a map, if you like, on the screen. And that would indicate that it was much more a cognitive task of actually working through a series of levels or puzzles, if you like.
Time to begin the experiment. So we start with the opening FMV sequence, not exactly your average family zoo outing. Surprisingly, it's not until 8 minutes in that we have our first encounter with a zombie. And it's not really affected our subject at all. EDR, electrodermal response, that's sweat to you and me, is only at 550, very low for an encounter with the undead. 18 minutes now inside the zoo gates.
The narrative is not grabbing her very much. Nothing much is happening. In fact, something that she expected to happen hasn't happened. And it's the pace. The pace of the game has slowed.
But it's when she encounters the zombie beast at 28 minutes in, we get the biggest reading so far, 900 EDR. "37 minutes in now, this hellish hyena has had a bigger scare reading. She clocks up a jump. Her EDR level has risen, officially more frightening than the zombie elephant. And the same reaction at 42 minutes. Nearing the end of the experiment, and at 59 minutes, the elephant rejoins the party. Okay, end game.
That wasn't scary at all. The animals were like rare, there wasn't that much to shoot or anything. I just found myself really quite bored rather than anything else. I just didn't find it that scary, and I'm sure my reactions were about the same.
Yeah, so taking the EDR results and putting them on our gory graph, let's recap what happened during the gameplay. Well, moving along the graph to 18 minutes, the zombie elephant turned up for a chat and made our subject Sweat hit an EDR of 750. 28 minutes in, and the elephant drags the player through the wall to a nasty death, an EDR of 900 and a peak heart rate of 144.7. While at 37 minutes in, the hyena hit the highest EDR with 1050. So adding to the Sweat results, we have an average heart rate of 68 beats per minute. No registered gasps, and she was only startled once. This gives us a final score of 55%, which means on our Scare Factor leaderboard, Resident Evil Outbreak File 2 slips into a poor second from bottom position.
Doesn't surprise me one bit. The game was so badly put together that I just got bored of not knowing what to do.
There might have been interesting facets to that game that would have kept the person gaming, but there wouldn't have been fear. It wouldn't have been fear that would have been the trigger there.
I'm at the Imperial Station and could use a few details.
There has never been a shooter that involves the manipulation of time, apart from Time Splitters and its sequel, and the third one. Well, okay, this is Time Shift, and as well as shooting people, you can stop time altogether, like this. This looks like being a very handy power, because although your enemies remain frozen to the spot, you're free to move through the chronological storm you've created, and then kill them. You play Colonel Michael Swift, a rising young military man provoked by the death of his daughter into participating in the test of the quantum suit, the source of all this time weirdness. Something's been dabbling in history, and as a result, Swift's hometown is now populated with masked goons whose hobbies include totalitarianism and angry shouting. Daft, yes, but very possibly the source material for an FPS with an entertaining twist. Atari have been working on the game for some considerable time, and even though this is early code, the game will feature an arsenal of 12 different weapons and extremely detailed fighting maps. There's something of a cartoon Half-Life feel to the game, and while there's similar one-man versus event system plot, Time Shift is brighter and more colourful than its distinguished rival. The other good news is that it's likely to be Atari's first outing on the Xbox 360, although the version originally planned for the old Xbox has now been scrapped. With the bar raised so high you can barely see it, getting an FPS right is not easy these days. So take your time, Atari. We want to play an exotic, funny and exciting sci-fi caper when the game comes out later in the year. Another episode packed with thrills, spills and maybe even a few tears draws to a close. But hey, remember to join us next time for more Gamer TV.
Harold Wilson, tonight at 9 on BBC Two.
The very latest moves on the political scene now.